goes towards high in case where both these are high. Now if you go to the next slide, this will be much further clear. See, we have got some hypothetical data, and based on that we need to make a concrete decision that which segment should I target. If you see, suppose hypothetically we have identified 5 segments, innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. I just adopted them from this innovation adoption card. And the certain hypothetical data that we have got are, say, yearly purchase in dollar terms, percentage of total customers, the segment constitutes, the percent margin of the product that you are offering to that segment, the number of competitors in that category, and if you look at the last column, the capability of your company to serve that segment. Now if you see, we can if you make simple calculations yourself, say taking the first segment, that is innovator segment, the yearly purchase figure in dollar terms is $3,000. So these segment innovators, hypothetically, they purchase $3,000 worth of product. Suppose there are 100 consumers, so this segment constitutes 2 out of those 100 consumers. So we can multiply 3,000 into 2 into margin. How much is the margin in percentage terms? 40. So 3,000 into 2 into 40 by 100 divided by 100 divided by number of competitors. Now here, the total number of companies present in this industry. Now competitors numbers are 2 and 1 is you. So total number of companies or total number of brands playing in that category are 3. So we divide by 3 and what we get is a revenue earning which indicates the segment's attractiveness worth $800. So we find that through a simple calculation that innovators give us a revenue in terms of dollars $800, and similarly through similar calculations we see the revenue earned values of the other 4 segments, that is 341 for early adopters, 300 for early majority, $109 for late majority segment, $82 for laggard segment. And now if we look at the attractiveness, revenue earned, that is which indicates the segment's attractiveness in terms of the revenue that we can get from that segment, and try to match with our compatibility with that segment, that is whether our point of strength matches with the attractiveness of that segment as we saw in the previous diagram. So we see that our capability to serve this particular segment innovators is medium. The attractiveness of the segment is high. So of course we can think of actually targeting this segment. If we look at early adopter segment, here the our capability to serve this segment is very high, and the attractiveness of this segment in terms of the business that we can get from them is medium. So we can conclude that we can decide that we can target, of course we can target this segment. But if we look at the situation of case of other 3 remaining segments, the attractiveness is medium in case of early majority, low in case of late majorities, low in case of laggards, and our capabilities may be medium to high, but they actually will not match with high to low, right? So we will appropriately we should not target those 3 remaining segments. So the decision that we can make safely here is we should ideally target the innovators and early adopter segments only. So could I explain that how we can arrive at these decisions, that in terms of which segment can we target, right? Now we will try to end our discussion in another 5 minutes. Just citing one example of Hindustan Unilever's Citadel strategy. Citadel, the term citadel literal meaning implies a fort. Now here if you see, earlier HUL was marketing ice creams. Earlier HUL was marketing ice creams to mass consumers Later it adopted a strategy termed as Citadel strategy, wherein it started focusing on only well-designed geographic location-based segments. Right? It decided to restrict its ice cream business involving the Swirls parlors in 20 selected cities in India. So Citadel implies fortress, one stronghold, and HUL focused on making each location its fortress so that it could become the strongest among the existing brand in those areas. Could you understand this? Now, some examples how this Titan brand segmented, have segmented, have targeted different segments for their different products. Say luxury segment, more than one watch segment, lifestyle segment among youth and outdoor lovers, fast track. So these things you can have a look. Now moving to the next slide, I'll skip this. I can only tell you that during classroom interactions, of course, I cannot discuss or teach you statistical techniques like factor analysis, cluster analysis, or logistic regression. But one thing I do, and I can teach you, discuss with you is how to carry out a very simplistic segmentation that can be used from the first day that you start working based on cross-tabulation. Okay. Now there are certain notes I have forwarded to you. I will not discuss this now, we have limited time. Say for example, single segment concentration, you can understand from the figure that in situations where one product is used to target, say one particular market, example, which is also known as single segment concentration or concentrated marketing. Examples include Rolex watches. There are many other examples also. Next, if you this was the single segment concentration. Next is the selective specialization, wherein you can see one product being targeted for one particular market. Examples include Maruti, Procter & Gamble's various products. Next, if you look at product specialization, where one product is targeted for multiple consumer segments, for example, Gillette. If you next go, you'll find that one strategy is market specialization, wherein multiple products are targeted for one single market. For example, the army ordnance factories manufacture various different products, wherein they, their targeted consumers are only army. And finally, the full market coverage, as you can see, many examples, IBM and so on, which is also known as or termed as mass marketing. Now, with this, the remaining slides contain examples of segmentation descriptors. With this, I need not discuss this. With this, we will try to wrap up our today's discussion. I am sure that I was able to successfully recap the discussions that we had in much more details in classroom interactions in a very brief summary to actually help you, since you are not being able to visit the campuses. So we were concerned that you may actually everything that we have discussed may go out of your mind. So it may become challenging for you to grasp once again physical interactions, that is physical mode of interactions in classroom, that is classroom interactions again start. And with certain sections wherein we did not discuss this, I think this brief discussion and the PPT that I have forwarded to you is going to help you in that regard. We had some, maybe very fast, but some basic discussions pertaining to the segmentation and targeting. So I tried my best to keep it in a very simple and very very brief module. Try to give you some orientation about the market segmentation and targeting. So with this, I once again like to express my assumption that all of you are keeping yourselves safe. You are completely complying with the healthcare guidelines and directives, and with that I will take leave of you. Have a wonderful evening.